And good Monday morning, everyone. This is the Tennessee Valley This Morning Show. First of the week, April 23rd. And we hope that you've had a good weekend. That last week, which was a very special week to me and a lot of folks that I work with because it was Volunteer Appreciation Week. But this is a brand new week, and it's sort of a remembrance week. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to introduce you to my co-host for this show. We've just met.
Yes.
And I was trying to make sure that I pronounced her name right, and I think I've got it right. Let me make sure. This is Samantha Outred.
Yes. Young.
I knew that. I was just trying.
The easy one.
I was trying to make you think that I didn't know how to pronounce Young. And Samantha is here to talk about a special event coming up, but she's also here, not for the first time. I believe you've been on Tennessee Valley This Morning before.
I have been.
And
yes,
that's
with Matt and Sarah.
Okay, Matt and Sarah. Well, we don't consider Matt and Sarah, even though they will be on tomorrow's show. And I think you probably work a little bit with Sarah through the CASA. But Samantha is a native Bradley Countyan.
I am.
She's lived here 45 years.
45 years exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But we won't go into ages either. But I understand that you are a local real estate agent.
I am. I work with Bender Realty.
Okay.
I've been there about 4 years.
Work with some fine folks over there with Jim and Brian Workman.
They're great guys.
And then and Robert Bradney. Great guy too.
Yep. We call each other our twins.
Oh, okay. Twins. Some good folks over at Bender, and some folks in our community that really are community minded. I know that I've dealt with Bender through the food drive that we have through Southern Heritage Bank.
Yes.
That helps our United Way agencies. I believe I may have taken a picture of you dropping off food there too.
I think you may have.
So, but Samantha's not here to talk about real estate or anything like that. Although I would like for you to tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, my mom is a native of Bradley County as well. My dad's actually from Canada. He's an import, and but I actually grew up in the house my mom was raised in.
Okay.
So,
and you're married?
I'm married. I'm married to a guy from Alabama.
Oh.
I had to import one myself.
Well, at least you got him out of Alabama and brought him to Tennessee instead of moving to Alabama.
He's much happier here.
Of course, everybody that moves to Tennessee from Alabama, it's like night and day.
Absolutely.
But it's great that you're here to tell us that. But I really want you to talk about a special event that's coming up, and that's the reason that I asked you to be on. We have a lot of things going on this week because it is the anniversary week. Actually, April 27th, Friday of this week, will be the 1 year anniversary of the tornadoes that struck our community. And there has been a lot going on since then, including a lot of building, a lot of home renovations, things like that, but also a lot of special events to raise funds so we can do this. And a couple of the events that we've had in 2011, we're having the third of those events this week, and it's Rock the Relief.
Rock the Relief.
Tell us a little bit about Rock the Relief. 3.
Rock the Relief 3. It started out last year. We did the weekend of May 14th, and it was really spur of the moment. My friend Brian Jackson arranged all of it. Totally spur of the moment. I think he finished everything in 6 days and had a lot of turnout. I think he had 6 bands there. He raised nearly a ton of canned goods.
Yes.
And over $2,000.
Of course, the bands are why you call it Rock the Relief. So it is a musical type festival.
It's a music festival, and we have vendors there, so we do have food.
Now, the first one, I believe, was held, was it at
Dumpy's.
Dumpy's, okay. See, it's hard for me to call anything Dumpy's. It sort of sounds like my living room, Dumpy's.
I think the reason he called it Dumpy's, it was because it was halfway between the Duff and Grumpy's.
Okay.
So, but it's in Polk County, and they've helped raise a lot of awareness about the tornadoes, and also they've been really supportive of all our Rock the Relief events.
Now, I believe the second one, was it held at,
It was at Pokey's.
Pokey's, Dumpies and Pokey's.
Yep.
I love that. Good old Southern names there. But the third one, and when was the second one held? It was
The second one,
I can't remember the date.
it was after the first one.
Yeah, of course.
I can't remember the date either.
Okay,
It's
but
all
it
running
was
together.
back last year.
It was last
I
year.
think maybe in the fall, late fall, something like that.
I think it was late summer.
But we've got one coming up this Friday evening, which is the third Rock the Relief. Where is it going to be?
It's going to be at Grant Perkle's house, farm. It's called Pappy's Place. It's 185 Morgan Road, right off Eureka Road in Charleston.
And do we know who's going to be performing?
Oh yes, our bill actually filled up in 6 hours.
Great.
As soon as we started making calls, we had to actually turn people down, which was really sad.
What time does it start?
Gates open Friday night at 5.
Okay.
And the bands will probably kick off around 6 or 7.
And how long does it last?
The last band we plan to go on around 11, so we're hoping to kind of close up shop around midnight.
Okay.
But then the gates reopen Saturday morning at 10.
More music?
More music.
Oh, right. More food?
More food.
Well, great.
And actually, we're also implementing camping.
Okay.
So people don't have to leave. We have a whole campground that they can just set up.
Sounds like a little Bonnaroo.
It is.
Okay. Do you know some of the bands that are playing?
We do. We have our major headliners are the Collins Brothers.
Sure.
Kings of the Killerfish are coming back together for it.
They've not played in a while together, I don't believe.
I think one of the last times was at my wedding. Actually.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Don't hold me to that.
Wait a minute, you had Kings of the Killerfish play at your wedding?
Yeah, absolutely. They're one of my favorites.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
They said yes immediately.
Okay.
So we were really excited about that.
Who else?
Blues Hammer. I don't know.
Good
A
grief.
lot of people don't really know about them, and they're one of the greatest bands that Cleveland has to offer right now. They're really amazing. And they'll be on Saturday.
Okay. I hate to throw out names because they may not be there, but a lot of these bands, some of them have played at the Relay for Life. I know that's where I first heard Blues Hammer.
Yeah. And they're playing this year at Relay for Life as well.
And JoJo, if there's ever anything to raise money to help anybody in our community, he's going to have the Collins brothers there.
Exactly.
So that's great. If they want to find out more information about Rock the Relief, how do they do so?
We actually have a website now. It's rocktherelieftn.com. And you
Okay.
can actually buy tickets online.
How much are tickets?
Tickets, a day pass is $15 for each day. And then we also have an all-inclusive pass, which even includes the camping.
Okay.
An all-inclusive pass is $75, and that even includes 4 meals and 5 non-alcoholic beverages.
Okay, that's great. And this is starting this Friday. You can buy tickets up until that time and at the gate?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And what is the money that's raised go to?
Well, initially it was going to go to LTRO, and they're a strong proponent for it. But we may try and do a habitat build with the money that we raise, and we're still sort of on the fence. We haven't really had a formal vote with everything yet. We're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to allocate that money. But
the money that's raised is going to help tornado survivors.
Exactly, and all the money raised stays in Bradley County.
And I was kidding with Samantha out in the hall. I understand Hollywood Steve we don't call him Hollywood Steve, I guess, but Steve Watson may show up as well.
He's rumored to be there.
Okay.
He is. I think your best chance will be to catch him on Friday night. I think he actually starts filming on Saturday, his new show.
That's what I understand, that he's got a brand new show coming up, and there's no telling what that may be. I think he's keeping it a little under wraps.
He won't even. He's on our committee, and he won't even tell us. So
he's learned the tricks of pulling the public in, and I'm not going to tell you enough about it. You're going to have to watch.
Exactly.
But Steve Watson could be there sometime, and I understand a friend of mine, Rebecca Maples, is going to be emceeing.
She is. We just actually roped her in yesterday.
That's great.
We did. We called her up, and she was just thrilled. She was very excited.
Okay. You're excited too.
We're excited to have her. She's so great.
Okay, but you're excited about the whole event, I know. You're going to be there you're going to camp?
I want to camp. I have a really, really old dog that I can't really leave for that long, so we'll see. I'd like to bring him, but I'm not sure that he can stick it out.
Well, I guess I should ask, can people bring their pets?
Well,
if they are tame pets?
I would like to steer clear of that,
Okay,
probably.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's probably a good idea too, because you want to make sure that they're safe and not getting out. Although if I remember Morgan Road, you turn off of Eureka,
yes,
and you go back quite a ways to get to the barn. So
it's a haul.
it is. It is. Okay.
But it's a nice venue. It's beautiful.
Well, we know there's a lot of things going on that day, and a lot of events throughout the weekend. But if you get a chance, and if this is your cup of tea, rock bands, blues hammer, anything like that, go out to Rock the Relief 3. Any more information? Once again, your website is
rocktherelieftn.com.
Okay, and look for Samantha.
I'll be there.
She'll direct you to the good food. There's got to be some good food.
I'll be
there
at the ticket gate probably.
All right. Well, I may get out there too.
We'd love to have you.
Looking forward to it. So I appreciate Samantha coming in and telling us a little bit about that. We have got some great guests coming in today. This is sort of a show that is with the anniversary of the tornadoes. We are sort of celebrating, and I hate to use the term celebrate, but we are honoring some of the survivors from the tornadoes of April 27th. Plus, I've got a special guest who's going to tell me a little bit about something that happened earlier this year. So we will be right back with Ross Tarver right after these messages.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Rid-A-Pest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside, or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Rid-A-Pest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTMB East Tennessee Television.
Have you ever thought about a career in television broadcast sales? Well, if so, WTMB might just be the place for you.
We're looking for a person that is self-motivated and energetic to join the WTMB family as a broadcast salesperson.
If that sounds like you, give us a call at area code 423-472-8892 or email us at joe@wtmbtv.net or kim@wtmbtv.net. We look forward to hearing from you, and let's get started today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what 2 of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25, 30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. Get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
It's a very simple process, and it's well worth it.
And welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning, on this Monday morning. Gee, I was watching the commercials, and Joe and Kim Palo popped up, and I thought it was time for me to start talking again. And then I realized, do I look that bad? I don't think they're listening in the back, but they are listening in the back. Okay, but welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning. Alan Mincy, your host, Samantha Outred Young, co-host, and our guest is Ross Tarver, who probably needs no introduction to anyone in this community because Ross has, I guess like in Samantha's case, Ross, are you a native Bradley County?
Absolutely.
Been
Born
here?
and raised.
Born here? Raised here?
Raised
Stayed
here.
here?
Stayed here.
And probably going to stay here.
Going to be here until God decides to take me away.
Well, we hope that's a long time from now because you are a very important part of our community in not only your professional side, which Ross is involved with Tarver Distributing, President, but Ross has been involved in a lot of things in our community that, and I know I've already talked to Ross, and he said, I don't want to get on here and talk about myself. This is not about me. This is about Bradley County and the community. But I know Ross, working with the Chamber, was very instrumental in helping us bring in some of our new industries, such as Vocker and Amazon and things like that. But that's not the reason I've asked Ross to be here. Ross has a great story to tell about our situation with the storms that we had back on April 27th, and then March 2nd of this year, which at that point on March 2nd, Ross, you were you became a survivor of the storm. But take us back to April 27th, if you don't mind, because I know you've been involved right after the storms then with providing some assistance in our community.
Well, my involvement April 27th basically involved when we first heard, obviously, that the tornadoes and the amount of devastation Bradley County took, we immediately called Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis and made a request for some emergency drinking water. And at that time, they made some arrangements down in Cartersville, Georgia, to stop the beer lines and the packaging lines, beer being filled in the cans, and they actually changed the lines to where water would be filled into the cans. And they sent 2 full tractor trailer loads to our facility, and then we distributed those cases out to various locations in and around the community with Red Cross, Salvation Army, several of the local churches, and we even set up a point there on Dalton Pike with a truck to where actually the people themselves could actually come by there and get what water they needed.
And at that point in the recovery, water was a major issue, not just for the folks who had been devastated by the tornadoes, but for our emergency workers as well.
There's no doubt. We went to Volunteer Electric and Cleveland Utilities, dropped off several cases there for the linemen and the workers that obviously was trying to get the power grid back up and restored. It was, I tell you, it's just great to see the American spirit alive at that time.
Now these cans, I don't mean to laugh, but my boss Matt Ryerson, and you know Matt. Matt tells this story where the cans were brought in and they had the Anheuser-Busch logo on them.
Yeah, they're just white cans.
White
and
cans.
Just have the Ann Eagle.
Right.
No kind of beer signification.
Exactly.
But the Anheuser-Busch.
But when you see a can with Anheuser-Busch on it, you go, what? Yeah. And I had not heard that that's what they did down in Cartersville, is that they stopped the line to put the water in these cans and all.
Yes.
But that was great. Were you out? Were you able to go out and see these supplies delivered?
Oh, absolutely. We actually, I set up. I was one of we had about 6 employees set up on Dalton Pike. Mm-hmm. That was where we set our truck up. And of course, we had already delivered some cases that afternoon, on Thursday afternoon and Friday afternoon, prior to the weekend, because we knew it was going to be very busy with volunteers and things of that nature. And we wanted to be sure the volunteers were properly hydrated, but also the survivors as well. Right. But it worked out really well.
And I understand that during this time you met a lot of the survivors.
Oh yeah, I mean, your heart just went out to these people, all of them. But I met several of them that weekend, even the following next 2 weekends. I took my sons out into the areas that were hit and devastated, and actually did some work, and met a lot of good, hardworking people, a lot of determined people at that time.
And still, they're still determined out
Absolutely.
there. But Samantha and I were talking, and I believe he told you a little bit of a story about what happened related to that from March 2nd. Is that correct?
Yes. Ross met with our committee, our Rock the Relief Committee, and for lunch one afternoon, and had us all in tears at the end of it, at the end of our lunch, at the end of his story.
And I really want you to tell this story if you don't mind. And I know this relates to earlier this year,
right?
But it does go back to the April 27th. But tell us a little bit about March 2nd for you.
Well, of course, that afternoon I was quite busy and worried about the weather, and called my wife to start watching the weather. And fortunately, she listened and was prepared and had the news on, and it gave her enough time to go in our hallway of our home, which at that time, she was still poking fun at me, thinking I was being paranoid. And but unfortunately for us, she did listen, and unfortunately for our family, we lost our home on March 2nd. But the incredible thing, I'd never been in this kind of position before, being on the receiving end of that goodwill, and it's much easier, I can tell you, to be on the giving side than the receiving side. Mm-hmm. But the overwhelming love that we received that afternoon, 10 or 20 minutes after the storm, there were over 200 people in our front yard. And I tell people this all the time: if you ever doubt God's grace, you just need to have been in my yard that Friday afternoon and you would have witnessed it. And what was remarkable about it, some of the people that I had actually worked side by side with at their homes during April 27th, I found them now helping me in my home. And I never thought I would, ever see that. But my parents always told me about helping people, you typically get it back twofold. And that afternoon, that proved very true.
That's it's amazing how it's sort of what goes around comes around.
Oh, we live in a remarkable community, and the people in it is what helped make it. And it just shows the true American spirit. It doesn't matter if you're Baptist or Methodist, Church of God, if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, if you're Republican or Democrat. It's just great to see people come together, and that's the blessing that I received not only in April 27th, but what I again received March the 2nd of this year.
And I understand that your business is helping out in some of these events that we're having. I know that you are helping out with Rock the Relief.
We are.
With that too. So it's not Tarver Distributing and Ross Tarver haven't stopped helping our community or giving back to our community just after March 2nd or anything like that.
No.
You're still out there.
Well, we love the community that we do business in, and we're going to continue to support the community. I mean, I told the committee that day what they're doing is such a worthwhile effort, because there are still so many of the victims from April 27th that still need help. Some were either uninsured or underinsured, and some of the work that long-term recovery organizations doing here, they're doing some remarkable things. Men and Women of Action, American Red Cross, Salvation Army, the list goes on and on, Habitat for Humanity, just so many great groups that people can get involved with and volunteer their time.
I bet Rock the Relief folks wouldn't mind having a few more volunteers.
We need volunteers so badly. And there's actually an application on our website. Okay. So if you want to volunteer.
There are opportunities out there to help.
Absolutely.
And I know we've got a couple of folks that are going to come on here in a few minutes that have been the recipient of this help. But if somebody had asked me about Ross Tarver ever needing help, I probably would have said no, Ross is way up there. But it came back to you.
Well, that afternoon I was walking through my bay window, which was blown out, and there was a gentleman that I had met last April 27th over off Dalton Pike at his home. And I don't know if it was his home or maybe one of his family members' home, but he was actually carrying an armload of my pants out of my closet, trying to salvage what we could out of the home before. There was two other systems of storms coming in that afternoon, one at 7 and one at 10. And all the people were there gathering all our personal belongings and helping us get it out of the house so it wouldn't sustain any further damage. But our eyes met, and he asked me if I remembered him, and I told him I did. And it was wow. He went to the trouble to find my name in the phone book, find out where I lived, and actually came to my home because he had heard through the scanner, I guess, that a Tarver home on Jenkins Road had been hit, and he came out there, and there was, God sent all those people to me that afternoon, and I give him a lot of credit for that. He spoke to a lot of people.
Are you rebuilding?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Any idea when you'll be back?
They're telling me it might take a year and a half
okay.
to have the home completely rebuilt, but Mother Nature has completely underestimated my determination. So we're very determined to build back, and I think just like those during April 27th, most of those people are building back as well.
They are, and it's that spirit in our community that keeps us moving forward.
Absolutely.
So, Ross, thanks for. I didn't know, Samantha, if you had anything else that you wanted to.
We'll catch up later.
Oh, all right. I'm sure you guys, because we've got events going on. But Ross, I really appreciate you coming on. This is not your style. You don't like to be on TV. You like to let other folks.
That's right.
Be on TV. But we appreciate you coming on. And I've heard that story. Samantha has heard that story. And it just shows.
Still chills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, except these lights, really not. But it sure shows the volunteer, the community spirit, the hand of God on our community.
There's no question. He's got it on it too.
He does. Thank you for coming in, and appreciate that. We're going to be back after this message with one of our survivors from the April 27th storms. I think I might ask Brian to come over, Brian Yarber, but we'll be right back.
Have you ever thought about a career in television broadcast sales? Well, if so, WTMB might just be the place for you.
We're looking for a person that is self-motivated and energetic to join the WTMB family as a broadcast salesperson.
If that sounds like you, give us a call at area code 423-4 472-8892 or email us at joe@wtmbtv.net or kim@wtmbtv.net. We look forward to hearing from you, and let's get started today. Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Ritapest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Ritapest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside, or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Ritapest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Ritapest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Ritapest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson, Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTMB East Tennessee Television.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what two of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, it took about 25-30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. Get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
It's a very simple process, and it's well worth it.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
And welcome back. Boy, I do that all the time, don't I? Just raise those fingers. Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning on this Monday morning. And my name is Alan Mincy, your host, with Samantha Outred Young, co-host. And the gentleman over here on the right is Brian Yarber, correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
I wanted to make sure that I said that right. And I met Brian, I guess, sometime back, maybe in the summer of last year. You and your folks came down to the United Way office, which is where the LTRO is located, and that was because Brian's family had their home and trailer.
There was three homes lost.
3 homes destroyed by the tornadoes of April 27th. Brian lives, and I was going to say lived, but still lives on Lead Mine Valley Road. And coming up toward the end of this week, on Friday, 4 o'clock, Brian and his family are going to be actually, I'm not sure if you've moved in yet or not,
No, we haven't.
but are going to be in their new, the dedication for Brian and his family's new home that has been built following the tornadoes. That dedication will be at 4 o'clock on Friday, 1 year after the tornado struck.
Yes.
Brian, you looking forward to the new house?
Yes, I am. I really am.
Okay.
I'm well pleased.
I haven't seen it. I've been out there during a lot of the construction, and those guys work hard.
They really have. They have really put their hearts into it and got in there and worked hard. We've had a lot of people from Largo, Florida, come up and frame the house in. They're Men and Women Action, Church of God.
Sure.
From Largo, Florida, Abundant Life Church come and frame the house in. The second crew that come in was a lot of them from Georgia. They done an excellent job. They come in. The guys from Largo, Florida come in and framed it. The other guys come in from Georgia and some here from local, from Cleveland.
Yeah.
And done the vinyl and the this, that, and another, And anyway, it's come along. They delivered the appliances, so it's.
And I guess
almost done.
we should give a plug to Whirlpool, because I
Yes,
believe they're the ones
yes,
who donate the
Whirlpool
appliances to
donated
all of
appliances.
these home rebuilds. And we had Ross Tarver on just before this talking about the community spirit here in Bradley County, but we saw a lot of folks from outside Bradley County come up and help. And I say come up. Some of them came down, from the north. We'll take them too, I guess.
Yeah.
But and helped folks in our community. So you mentioned the folks from Florida and Georgia.
And there was some that come down from Illinois to hang sheetrock, and I think there was two projects going on with the Men and Women of Action, and I think they actually got the other house. I think they actually got the sheetrock hung in it, but we ended up having to get ours hard out because unfortunately the main guy that hung the sheetrock in the house, his wife had a heart attack the morning that he got to my job. So I told him, I said, we don't have no hard feelings. We're going to pray for you, and we want you to go home and be home with your wife. Good. So she had open heart surgery, and God was hearing our prayers, and she done all right through the surgery, and so he went home, and he got home and called several of them, and she done real good. So
now, Samantha,
we don't hold that against nobody.
That's great. Samantha, you haven't heard Brian's story, but April 27th, it was the third round of tornadoes, I guess.
It was the last round. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And what I've heard you tell the story, but you and your mom and dad, I guess, were at home.
There was 12 of us there.
Okay.
We call it the family farm. There's 21 acres there, 3 homes. It was my home, my mother and dad's home, and my sister's home.
Okay.
And me and my children were at home. I had 3 children that's still at home, and my mom and dad was at their house, and my dad's dad, which they've been taking care of him the last few years, was at his house, and my sister and her 2 girls and her oldest girl's husband was at her house.
Okay.
And of course, it had been storming on and off all day that day, and we made it through 2 rounds. We didn't see no tornadoes or nothing, but the 3rd round, they said severe weather was moving in the area, and didn't say nothing about no tornadoes. Just severe thunderstorm was the last thing that we heard before the power went off. And so the power went off, and I raised the window, and that's something I normally don't do. I don't normally raise the windows in my house. And I had hardwood floors, and I laid a towel down at the floor so that the wind was blowing, and the rain come in there, it wouldn't ruin the floors.
Sure.
Little did I know that it was going to be gone that,
Mm-hmm.
And I was laying across the end of my bed there, and I was thinking, it's just crazy how you think about things like that. But I was thinking, I knew I had insurance on my home. I knew I had insurance on Sisters. And the thought occurred to me, was we up to date on Mom and Dad's? Did we have insurance on Mom and Dad's house? Is there enough insurance on Mom and Dad's house if we do have it? And so I was laying there and thinking about that, and I thought, well, if we make it through this storm here, I'm going to be sure that there's insurance on that house. But we didn't make it. It was getting right at dark. It was right before dark. About a storm hit about 8:30, 8:45 that night.
Mm-hmm.
My sister had been home about 45 minutes. She worked at Rite Aid on Dalton Pike. And she'd been home about 45 minutes, and I was actually getting ready to go up to her house. And the storm was just, rain was just blowing, and the wind was blowing, and the trees was doing all kinds of crazy things, and all of a sudden everything just quit. It got real calm. And I told the kids, I said, let's go now. There's something gonna happen. And I got to the end of my ramp, and I turned back and I looked. And as I turned back and I looked, that thing was about 5 stories high, solid black. It was already on the ground. It was solid black. And it sounded like 10 locomotives. And Dad, as already got ready for bed, was billy bopping out through there in his robe and his house shoes. And he was hollering that for us to come up there to his house, that he was scared of the thunderstorms, you know. And I'm hollering, no, get everybody out. Get them in this ditch over here. It's a tornado. And he couldn't hear me. And he's got ears like a dog. Yeah. And he couldn't hear me. And about that time, it hit the back of his house and throwed him out in the ditch.
Wow.
And threw the garage on top of him. And I said, Lord, you know, I had never seen nothing like that. So I continued toward my sister's home, but I couldn't make it. I turned around, and I was heading back toward the ditch. Well, I couldn't make it to the ditch either, so I just laid down on the ground pretty close to the ditch. And I had an S10 truck sitting on the driveway, and it throwed it over top of me. And there was a Taurus sitting on the driveway, and it took it and throwed it across me and hit a tree. And down that tree, it was a big old cedar tree, and it down that cedar tree, took the side out of the car and turned it around. And when it turned it around, I was laying there and everything was hitting me, but I didn't know what had hit me, what it was, you know. And I had my arm over my head, and when that car turned around and was coming back at me, that's when I closed my eyes. I thought, you know, I'm going to see Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so the storm was over. So I got up and I found Dad, and Dad said, what happened? I said, Dad, we got hit by a tornado. I said, let's go find everybody. He said, where's Lisa? I said, I don't know. I said, I have to go home, Dad. I said, you go find Mom, man. But the bad thing about it is I stuck my 12-year-old in the ditch and under a deck that I'd put there, you know, kind of make them like a little play place. I stuck her down in there, and I didn't know that my the 12-year-old's one stuck in the ditch. I didn't know that my 9-year-old at the time, she was 9 years old, had run into Mom and Dad's house, and my 18-year-old son had also run into Mom and Dad's house. And I thought they was in the ditch where I told them to go, you know, but they were so scared you know, that was a plan. That was the main plan. Dad thought the brick house was invincible. When it come a bad storm, we go to Dad's. And I just knew that there wasn't no hope for that because I seen what was coming. Right. And you know, and that's what I asked the kids. I said, why didn't you go to the ditch? And they said, well, you always told us to go to Mama and Papa's. I said, I didn't tell you that night. I told you to get in the ditch that night. Yeah. And that's what you want to do in a tornado. If you're ever caught in a tornado, you want to get in the deepest place you can get in the ground.
If you don't have
a shelter. You know.
Right.
You want to find a ditch or a creek or something and get in it. And I've always knew that. I knew that all my life. But unfortunately, that night I had a pair of shorts on. You know, I didn't think the weather was going to be that bad. Never dreamed a tornado was going to come through there and do all that. I had just had a pair of shorts on, didn't have no shoes, didn't have no shirt. And I had my cell phone in one pocket, and I stuck a pen flashlight in my other pocket in case the power went off. You know, I know the power went off, but just in case before that, I'd put it in my pocket. And so after I found Dad, I said, you go find Mom and them, and he was kind of in a daze, you know. I said, you go find Mom and them, and I'll be back. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to hunt Lisa, my sister. He said, okay. He said, let me know when you find them. I said, okay, I sure will, Dad. And I was on the phone with 911, of course. And in your mind, you're not thinking, well, you know, a tornado, and it's went up the street, and it's tore down trees, and I mean, you don't know how far this thing's went, you know, and you don't know which direction it's went in. And I'm sitting here thinking, why is it taking so long for them to get down here, you know? And in your mind, like I say, you're not thinking about all the trees and everything. Well, they had to cut their way down there. My brother lives down the road. He lives on Dunhill Farm Road, which is about 15 minutes away if you're doing the speed limit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it took him 2 hours to get there that night.
Wow.
So, but unfortunately, I found my sister and my nieces over in my uncle's yard in the field, and sis didn't make it. And
I know that's still you still feel that.
it hurts, but she's gone on to a better place. And you know, by God's grace, I can sit here and tell you that it hurts, but I know that she's in a better place and she's not suffering.
Right.
And legally, I mean, if it, in my opinion, there was 12 of us there, there should have been 12 coffins at the funeral home lining the walls. It shouldn't have been nobody but my brother to take care of all of it. And,
but you guys did survive.
we did survive, and
now you are going to see this Friday how our communities come together to provide for a family who's gone through something that none of us ever wish that on anyone.
No.
It's got to make you feel, you know. Well, actually, I don't know how it makes you feel. What do you feel?
You know, I'm excited for one.
Mm-hmm.
I was standing down there the next day, on the 28th. The next morning, I took Dad to my granddad's house, and I was kind of on my own. Mom, it ripped her whole face off and broke her kneecap. She was in Chattanooga at Erlanger, the last patient admitted into Erlanger. The storm was so severe that people from Alabama had come, and so she was the last patient admitted into Erlanger that night. My brother was with her. My sister's gone. Her kids, her oldest daughter's back was broke. They flew her to UT in Knoxville. She's 14 weeks pregnant at this time. We don't know whether the baby's going to survive or not. Her husband wasn't hurt. Her youngest daughter, Sarah, is shipped to T.C. Thompson's. She had a broke pelvic bone and fractured vertebrae. And and when I found them laying over there in that field, I knew that they was hurt, and I told them to lay still because I didn't know how severe hurt they was. And that it's a horrible feeling to walk into every room and tell. Dad was the first one I told, and then I went on to tell each one, that she's gone, she's not coming back, my sister. But this house is built where my sister's trailer was sitting, where her double wide trailer was sitting. And the reason that we built it there is it was actually the cleanest spot on the property at the time.
Right.
And it's kind of a memorial to her as well.
Sure.
And but I was standing there the next morning, and I was scratching my head, and I was sitting there, and I said, God, how am I going to clean this mess up? And Charles Holyfield from the Church of God worked 44 years of service at the Church of God as maintenance, director over maintenance, and does a lot of the disaster relief, and drives a tractor and trailer, I found out, for disaster relief for the Church of God. Mm-hmm. And part of them went on action. And he pulls in the driveway and he said, God sent me down here, so,
Well, I'm sure Charles will be there Friday.
Charles will be there Friday.
And a lot of folks who have been involved in this will be there Friday.
They all be there, yeah.
And you know who else is going to be there Friday? It's going to be Lisa. She's going to be there.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to seeing you folks get into your new home. Now, the whole family's going to live in the home, right?
Right.
You and your mom and dad. I understand your mom's a good cook.
Yep.
You told me that.
Yep.
She's going to invite us all down.
Well, yeah, eventually.
She makes a good pie, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, those people that's offered $10 or $15 for them chocolate pies.
Well,
I wouldn't give you 15 cents for them. I don't like chocolate, but
Well, that's good because the rest of us will eat your part of the chocolate. But I know a lot of us are going to be down there. We are so sorry for what happened to your family, but those of us that have seen what's going on are so pleased to be able to do this and be there to see your family. You have this new home, and it's 4 o'clock Friday. I don't think it's by invitation. I guess anybody that wants to be there can be there.
Anybody that wants to be there. The Men and Women of Action Disaster Relief signs up. The address is on the sign. You can't miss it. Turn in the driveway, come on down, and
Fantastic.
and celebrate with us. And that's what it is. It's a celebration. It's a dedication and celebration is what I call it.
Well,
we hope that everybody shows up that's had a part in. I know that the guys that went home, like to Georgia or whatever, I don't know if they'll be back, and the guys from Florida surely ain't going to come back.
I would put it past them. You never know, but
you never know. But there is people that have worked on that place that are coming. I've heard some from Pennsylvania. And so we don't know. We don't know who's going to show up and who ain't, but everybody's welcome.
Well, we're gonna be there, and I appreciate you coming on and talking about this. You need to hang around because you're just now getting a house dedicated, and we're going to be talking to Rosie Miller. And Rosie, a couple of weeks ago, got into her new house, and if you want to see somebody smile and cry at the same time and tears of joy, then that would be Rosie. So Brian, appreciate you being on the show today. And we'll see you Friday.
All right.
Okay?
My pleasure.
And we will be back after these messages with more of Tennessee Valley This Morning.
Have annoying biting and stinging insects taken over your yard? Volunteer Rid-A-Pest can get it back. Make your yard a no-fly zone with Mosquito Guard. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will eliminate these annoying pests, and you'll be able to work in your yard, have a pool party, a cookout, allow your children to play outside, or just sit outside and enjoy the evening. Volunteer Rid-A-Pest has developed an extremely effective treatment program that treats all shrubs, bushes, trees, and other foliage where mosquitoes and other biting, stinging insects live and breed. This material will not harm your plants or trees and leaves no harmful residue. This treatment program is safe for use around children and pets, but the best part is it's 100% guaranteed. If you are not 100% satisfied, Volunteer Rid-A-Pest will retreat for free until you are satisfied, or after 30 days, will cancel their agreement and refund 100% of your money. Give Volunteer Rid-A-Pest a call for a free no-obligation estimate. Phone 472-7736.
Discover great local programming right here on WTMB East Tennessee Television. Tune in weekday mornings at 6:30 a.m. for Tennessee Valley This Morning to find out what's going on in your local area. Watch East Tennessee Shopper with Joe and Kim Palo live every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Get caught up in all the latest sports action. Watch In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson, Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. with replays at midnight. All this and more on WTMB East Tennessee Television.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Ford, board certified in anti-aging medicine and pain management. Have you had recent decrease in energy, lack of sex drive, feel moody, grumpy, or sad? If so, you may have low testosterone and be a candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement. Listen to what 2 of my patients have to say.
Before I came to the Ford Clinic, I had to have a nap every day.
When I got off work, I'd lay around, really didn't want to do much and felt real lazy.
I've noticed since I had the testosterone implant that I can go a good 8 hours doing the things I enjoy doing.
I had it done, took about 25-30 minutes, 5 months, and I'm doing good. My stomach, my muscles, they've completely changed. My fat level has dropped. Get to go out and run, exercise with my son. My muscles are just getting stronger.
If you'd like to change your life, please call me at Ford Center for Pain Management and Anti-Aging Medicine at 423-400-9115.
Very simple process, and it's well worth it.
Have you ever thought about a career in television broadcast sales? Well, if so, WTMB might just be the place for you.
We're looking for a person that is self-motivated and energetic to join the WTMB family as a broadcast salesperson.
If that sounds like you, give us a call at area code 423-472-8892 or email us at joe@wtmbtv.net or kim@wtmbtv.net. We look forward to hearing from you, and let's get started today.
I'm Byron Winters with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Contact me for all of your business insurance needs. From general liability to workers' comp, commercial auto, and business umbrellas, Landmark Insurance has you covered.
And welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning. Alan Mincy, your host, Samantha Altrud Young, your co-host, and with us now is Rosie Miller. And if you don't know Rosie, where you been? Rosie is, there's people in town that know you. You're pretty well known, aren't you?
In the newspaper.
From the newspaper? Yeah, there was a story in there about your recent home dedication.
My dedication.
You were thanking me for the story, and I didn't even write it.
Oh, I didn't know, but they did a good job.
I believe David Davis may have written that, and so we should give David some accolades. Yeah. But you, I guess, are the most recent home dedication recipient that we have had, and that's what, a couple of weeks ago?
The 5th.
The 5th. And brand new home?
Brand new, praise the Lord, brand new home. Yeah.
First home?
Never had a home. I've lived in mobile homes all my life.
Okay, so now you have a home.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. What?
From ground up.
Yeah.
Men and Women of Action did a great, fantastic job.
What? Tell us a little bit about. You've been in the home a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
What was some of the first things you did while you were there?
I rest.
No, you got to sleep.
I slept. Yeah,
in your own
rest
home.
in my own home, because I've been living with my kids, 2 grandbabies, 6 and 5. So I didn't get much rest.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's the first thing I did was go in there and pray and rest.
Okay. I've been in the home. It's a beautiful little home.
It is. It is. It's perfect for me.
Yeah.
Because I live by myself, so I didn't need nothing big.
But it's up toward Charleston.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And close to relatives, I believe.
I live next door to my daughter and son-in-law. Yes.
Okay, so you got them nearby.
I do. Praise the Lord. Yeah.
When the home was dedicated, I remember seeing tears streaming down your face. You were just so
overwhelmed.
Overjoyed.
I was overwhelmed with joy. Yes.
But it was not just the home itself, but I guess all the folks who were there.
Yes. I mean, the people who cared so much just to come out and spend that day with me.
Yeah, and you're about
very
to.
Touching, very touching.
Yeah. See, there she goes. She's about to cry, and I was going to try to avoid making you cry. But have you had anything special go on over at your house? Have you had a housewarming or anything?
We did. My daughter gave me a housewarming before dedication, and I got so many gifts. I mean, brand new stuff. Everything in the house practically is brand new stuff. Mm-hmm. And the house is brand new. So I got a new start, and I give God the glory for it all, because I got a new start because of United Way. Certain people at United Way, men and women of action, volunteering, and I couldn't have had what I have without them.
I know the long-term recovery organization.
Long-term recovery organization, yes.
And you saw Brian on here just a few minutes ago.
Yes.
You can tell him that this is going to be something special.
Very, very touching, very warm-hearted people. Yes, it's going to be a new beginning for Brian, because it was for me.
Yeah, I got you on here late, and I've only got a minute left to talk to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I am too, because I know that you could talk a lot more, but I know that there are just so many involved in what took place at your home. So,
yes.
Any chance that you might be able to come with us down to Brian's and watch the dedication?
That would be good. Yes, okay. If Lisa will remind me.
I think she will.
I would love to come down.
And Brian, I know you're way over there, but you'd love to have.
Everybody will.
Everybody's welcome over
Oh, mercy.
down at the Arbor Home.
Yes. praise the Lord.
1849 Lead Mine Valley Road. Friday, 4 o'clock. Rosie, I wish I had more time to talk to you.
Well.
Maybe we can get you on a little bit later, okay?
Okay.
Samantha, thanks for coming on Rock the
Thanks
Relief.
for having me.